June 2025 in South Africa. And he is expected to be put to rest tomorrow in South Africa, that is in Johannesburg. And there are latest developments that have actually happened. We have just had reports saying the Attorney General, Muliro Kabesha, has actually filed an injunction to stop the burial of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. We'll touch on that as well and many other issues in relation to ECL's burial. And in studio, I am joined by NAREP Secretary General, Mr. Martin Mulenga. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and good evening, our viewers out there.
Thank you so much for coming through on the program tonight.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
All right. So, dear viewers, you will also be given a chance to be part of the program as we go on with the show. The number will be showing on your screen, so you can call on that same line. And do remember that you need to be brief to the point, and we'll give you at least 2 minutes to make your contribution, comment, or questions for my studio guest tonight. So now, obviously, of all the guests that I've featured, I haven't featured you on remembering ECL.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we should get your view. How would you like to remember ECL?
Yeah, our 60th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, was president for this country for almost 7 years. If you look at President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, yes, as a human being, he could have had his own flaws. But one thing that we should know is that Edgar Chagwa Lungu was president and he presided over this country. And in presiding over this country, there are so many things that he, under his administration, did that Zambians could be proud of. If you take, for instance, in the health sector, there was a time that under his leadership, we saw over 600 health posts having to be built. We saw how there was a very robust program to do with the issue of roads. If you go to Kabwata today, and most of the roads in Lusaka, you find that they've been tarred. They are now, I would say, bituminous standard under his leadership. Under his leadership, if you go along Regis Road, there are those flyover bridges that under his leadership were built. If you talk about airports, the airport in Doha, Simon Mansaka Pwepwe Airport. If you look at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, one of the standards that it's a marvel to watch in this country. And ECL, under his leadership, we can say there are a lot of projects that can be attributed to his leadership. Hydropower projects and many other projects. So when we are in politics, we know that we are competitors. But at the time that we lose one of our friends, one of our leaders like Edgar Chagwa Lungu was, we need to appreciate the very things that Edgar Chagwa Lungu did. And that's what it means to live in a democratic dispensation, where you are to compete on ideas. But when a person dies, he ceases being your competitor. Even at a political party arrangement, when someone dies, he never becomes a member of that political party. He becomes your friend that has passed on, because then they're not part of any club. So when we heard that we've lost our former president, then we realize it's not a funeral just for the Patriotic Front, but it's a funeral for all of us as Zambians. So let's put our heads together and mourn and look at the very good things that Edgar Chagwa Lungu did. He did his best for the betterment of this country. We're not competing with him. So why not should we celebrate the life of our former president? So we are mourning with the family of Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And as Zambians, all of us, we are mourning the loss that we've suffered as a nation.
Mr. Mulenga, why do you think there's been an extended standoff between the government of the Republic of Zambia, or should I say President HH, and the Edgar Chagwa Lungu family?
I think from the outset, I think this is very unnecessary. If you look at the way we've lived as Zambians, we've always appreciated living as brothers and sisters. So, this I would say kind of standoff that we've witnessed is very unfortunate, and we are setting a very bad precedent for the nation. Because we were told that government and the family were able to sit and agree on what they needed to do together. And a program was given. And the days of mourning as national mourning were given from one party or another party. So why should we have that kind of a problem as a nation? Why are we failing to think over a funeral? This country, I think we must rise like an eagle above these challenges and be able to agree that this is what we're able to do. Where is the church? And the church are trying to say, guys, let's do this. But where is the problem?
So do you think the church has done their role, making sure that we reach a consensus in the government and ECL? Because I've heard some people are saying the church has failed us on this issue.
I may not be able to speak for the church,
but according to your observation.
But my observation is that the church have tried. Because when they're advising you, you can only listen. But if they're advising you, you also have issues that probably you're not going to agree with them. There lies a problem. When you go to a table of discussion, go there with open minds. Not with your own decision that this is what I want. No. That's not how we discuss. Every meeting that you go to where there are discussions, go there with open mind. But whenever you see that there is some position that has been taken, that does not make others comfortable, here we are. And why should we have this? I think the family, like we've always said, I put it to every one of us that they are able to agree. The communique that was given was read out to all of us Zambians. Secretary to Cabinet was this side, Akepi was this side, and they read out. And having read, and we all heard what they had agreed upon, there is a problem. We must be sincere with ourselves. We also saw that the days of mourning that were given were cut short. But people were, why? The president said, I think we need to cut because we cannot continue mourning. Business must go to, life must go to normalcy. A day later, Awasaka also writes that no, it was not as if we don't, we're not going to, we heard what was said. It's in public domain. It was on ZNBC. A day later, Awasaka from State House writes something that really contradicts the position that we had as Zambians. That in itself is not good for the nation.
How wrong was the move that the president made to follow the national movement, even before ECL was put to rest?
Personally, I feel it was not done well. It was not done in good. It's like the president just gave up. Say, let it be. Let's go back to normalcy. But I think there lies a problem. Because our head of state is president for 20 million. When he speaks to all of us 20 million. And that's how important that position is. So now, when you hear a statement being given, I think even those that were at the PF Secretariat, immediately they heard that the period of mourning has been cut short. They all dispersed because they listened. That is how powerful that office. Then a day later, Awasaka writes to tell us that no, actually it was increased, as if we're not able to listen. We need to be sincere with ourselves. We all love this Zambia. This issue of a funeral, I think as a nation, we could have done better than what we've done. Because our children will be asking us, what did you go through? Having to put to rest your former president in South Africa. What kind of stories are you going to tell our people? Our children, our own children. Mwana ikalashani, It speaks to how we are living as a nation. I think peace must prevail in this country. And our leaders must be in the forefront to speak. Let me take advantage to just tell you how some of these, our colleagues in the UPND, have been mocking those that have been mourning. Together, the family of ECL. How do you mock someone who has a loss? If it were just even my own father that has passed on, then you see cadres throwing on their Facebook pages, swimming pool, swimming pool, what kind of respect is that we are going to tell our children? Well-known UPND member, swimming pool, I don't know that to Fanta. Alianda Pachidiro. The president, Shani. We saw that happen. We've seen many well-known UPND cadres who would even come out and say, Davide. And no one is coming out from the leadership to say, guys, at a time like this one, ceasefire. They allow people to mourn. Where are we missing it? I've not seen any of our leaders to tell these cadres, say, come to fall in line. Because what we are doing is not supposed to be done. I saw one in Eastern Province. Again, well-known UPND cadre. Telling off the family of Israel and Makebi, who is working in the family, to say, hey, I ask myself, is this the Zambia that we want to live in, where people cannot even respect the dead in the name of politics? No. It's not the country that we want to live. We want to live in a country where we respect the dead. When we were growing up ourselves, when we were in primary school, they will tell us to stop by the roadside, to allow the cops. Not that someone will tell you to stop, but will just stop. That is how we are brought up, respect for the dead.
Do you think we've lost respect for the dead as a nation?
We are losing it completely. How can we see members of a certain political party be comparing the dead and the living? Is that normal? This one suffered. He suffered more. He would have died. I know they say below, but in the website, we all know that. We're in politics. Is that how we can live as a nation? No. Let's have respect for the dead. West is still a former head of state. And I post on Facebook, under 15 minutes. And we are just bored. Me, if I was Secretary General of the UPND, what I could have done, well-known UPND member under, call out, can you come to Secretariat? I, as Secretary General, I would not allow you to do this because of the respect that we had for this former president. And as a result of this, I'm putting in punitive measures. I've suspended you for 3 months. Then people will say, oh, we just suspend you and the party ECL. Now, support the ECL. But that there is discipline there. That is how you win membership. Number one, that ECL, Shan, Mare Ponta, Namailobaka Ponta. These are things that we are missing out. I'll give an example. One of our leaders in the UPND called the Archbishop Banda Lucifer. These things are a build-up of how we are losing it bit by bit. We had Nawak who was buried. It was the same. We had the memorial for Michael Chilufiasata. It was the same. Others were this side. Others were stopped to go in the cathedral. And you know, it's a build-up, right? So this memorial is for everyone to see. Others were at Anglican. Others were at Cathedral of Child Jesus. The police were at Cathedral of Child Jesus. The other bishop were standing outside, stopped from having to attend mass. Now, it was the same. So where are we missing it when it comes to coming together when there's a funeral, there's a burial for these prominent leaders? Where are we losing it? There must be somewhere where we're missing it. Why don't we sit and agree to say, as a nation, these politics that we do are just for politics. Politics are for competing ideas, not for competing with the dead. No. Gavanda timulengai pepa ku church and so on. Why should it be a problem that I need to be taken to a church where I used to be a member? Ema problem sure kwata. Why na waku ni problem imwe. Satamemero ni problem imwe ine. Iya ba Lungu ni imwe ine problem. Leadership is missing for me. And why should we continue living like this?
Mr. Malenga, what sort of message is this sending to the world out there? Because Zambia is known as a peaceful country, and looking at the unfolding events right now, there's a message that it's sending out there.
We are actually a laughing stock. It's an embarrassment. Zambian. Why are we failing to talk? Because leadership is about communication. Having to communicate with one another. Not to talk at one another. We need to communicate. What do we do on this situation? Our political affiliations are away when we sit down at funerals, so to speak. If you look at the way we live in our families, you can be UPND. I'm Narab. My son is just UPND. Even if I tell him as the father, maybe there will be UPND. So meaning that we live together as one when we go. So when we lose any of us, those political affiliations are not there. We remain as a family. So it is with the nation. You lose any of your own, they are Zambians. Takwabo wakwata inara siyo barembati. Stroke PF, stroke UPND, stroke NAREP, stroke one, Zambian. That's all. Why are we failing to know that is what we are? Zambians. Then, where is this spirit coming from? Where is this spirit of confusion? We didn't hear. We are getting, I think we are losing it. All of us that are in politics, wrestling for power should not take us to this extent. The leadership is useless. We're going to be fighting over funerals. Then what is leadership for? Nothing. Because those that have died will have nothing to do with the development of this country. They will have nothing to do with those of us that are living. Those that have gone, we leave them to the hands of God. It's like we're fighting with God. We're fighting with God because those that passed on are in the hands of the Almighty God. Then ask ourselves, wrestling, this one left, this one right, this one center, this one backwards. Why have reached this? What is missing? For me is love, real love for one another. And also the message that we as politicians are trying to put forward to our membership. And that's also there's a problem. When you are in leadership, let's get a leaf from Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela suffered for 27 years, put in prison in Robben Island. When Nelson Mandela came out, what did he put? Peace and Reconciliation Commission. Nelson Mandela was no, this is Shan, this other race, this, He said, apartheid is gone. Those that were our enemies, now our friends. So we have PW Botsa to work with me and many others, let's work together. And we saw real peace in South Africa. Why? Because one Nelson Mandela rose above what he went through for 27 years. Number ifwe ngamwabuka fyenga mwabuka. This one suffered the left side. This one suffered. He suffered more. Oh number chibeshani. Oh number ba fababuke ngamwata suffered. They suffered. And what the UPND, some of them must understand. This I'll tell you, my colleague. HS became president because of what he went through. And that they must understand. HS became president for what he went through. But that was the design that he needed to become president. That he may find himself in certain situations that some of us did not like. We supported the UPND because we said probably this is not the way we're going to treat each other. Let's put HH to bring order. The cadres are harassing us. This is not happening the way we want it to happen. Let's put HH to have order. Now, some UPND members have forgotten how HH became president. They've forgotten. They've gone back to those issues that we knew that it's because of this that we need to support him to become president. Then the change that we voted for is not there.
Mr. Mlenga, as NAREP, you are known to be in an alliance with the UPND and many other parties as well. So obviously, one would wonder, are you against everything that is happening, or maybe there is somewhere where you think the UPND is doing the right thing?
I will tell you, a political party will still remain a political party. I think we've mentioned, and everyone out there must know that as a party in Arab, we've realized that the way things have been happening, as a party, we said, let's suspend ourselves from the alliance. And that has led to us having those to my misunderstanding at the party. But that's a story of another day.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, what is happening with the ECL, or barrier, or the FINRA itself? Is there anything that you feel the UPND has done rightfully?
I think I saw once when the Secretary General, through Max Moore, issued a statement, issued a letter where he was saying he had curtailed the UPND members from issuing misguided statements until they are given clearance from the Secretariat. But it's like that information fell on deaf ears. They just continue, boom, fire blazing, to the annoyance of many Zambians. Then we realized they are at variance. Then we saw that this is not how we need to do. Leadership, for me, you need to make a decision, and that decision that you make, you stand for it. Even if it may be unpopular. But after that thing has been done, people will come back and say, you were right. Leadership. Social media. Muntu nafola mbibale ndati imanda tumushike fe imanda yakwe uyu muntu ale tushupa uyu muntu ale stashani ifu twinga fo kumfa pachiro jua.
Let's focus on the latest development where it has been reported that Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha has filed an injunction to stop the barrier of ECL in SA. What do you make of that?
I may not be a lawyer, but I'll tell you one thing, that where they are and ECL remains are, I don't think those people are so naive that they will do things, put up a program, barrier sites, and having to agree these to travel. They do not understand the law. For them to have been given green light that they needed to bury in South Africa, they must have abided with the law in that country, South Africa. So, these, I would call them, this response that you will hear could have been given to the Attorney General, I don't know how that would be received in South Africa. I don't know whether the court there will have to acknowledge and say, we can put this to hold, or they might not receive it because the program has been set and they'll still go ahead. It's up to those legal jargons, depending on how that thing is done. But look at where it's taken us. Failure to agree. Pakabasi tuwawana kukoti. Shimati mleluila ka ploti mwebana. Palasti mwafiro kutontonkanya. The whole Zambia palasti mwaituwana kukoti. Pachidilo. Ugushika. Muntu ufuire. Na umakwatu ambo kulaya. Numbo kutontonkanya ture kubusha pesa. Aba bebe balandi aba weya. Ture kubusha pesa kutontonkanya. Pachidilo pakushika. Pa president besu. Na kumakoti tuwaya. I think we are writing a book here. As a nation.
What's the title of the book?
The book, Failure to Bury. Failure to think. Oh.
Now, Mr. Mulenga, is there a law that mandates a former president to be buried in Zambia? I know you've read the Constitution, you understand it very well. Is there anywhere where it's written to say a former Republican president should be buried in Zambia?
There is no law. We've tried to read, to get from these that are the legal scholars. Unfortunately, there is no law. Even that memorial, that embassy park that we've created, it's courtesy of the leadership that is in power at any particular time, that we should all come together. Ubuntu buli atwakwata Zambians na tumushike wino tumushiteona, because we wanted to grant respect. And this is where I think our constitution, for me, we react to situations that we want to put constitution and everything. This is now we are going to hear of, maybe after maybe 6 months, or 1 year, that no, we need to have a constitution that will safeguard a situation like this one. At the moment, there's nothing. Look at the issue to do with running mate. Not until we lost how many presidents? 2 in office. Then the PF realized we are spending more money and having by-elections. What do? Let's have a running mate clause. That's how we saw the coming in of the running mate. So, as a nation, I think we are reactive. Even when it comes to law, we are becoming reactive. So this situation, because of what we've gone through and what we've seen happen, others that will come, or these, maybe when they realize, we see that emotion has been moved, we want to have this and that, but we safeguard this problem that we have.
So you're foreseeing an amendment to the Constitution?
Obviously, that's the way we are. We are reactive. We are not proactive. We are reactive as Zambians to situations. Well, how did the running mate clause come in? We lost Mwanawasa in government. We lost Sata in government. Then we realized, what is the remedy to this situation? Running mate. So because of this situation, let them go as a pair, such that if one dies, this one will finish the term. That's how we find ourselves. Eligibility case ya Lungu. To say, Lungu served this period. Had we, as a nation, put in place during such time, would have seen a running mate having to continue and finish the whole length of a term. No wonder Lungu had to serve 1 year, 6 months as president. We had elections in 2 years twice. So now, the PF and Lungu that time said, we need to have a remedy to this. What do? And they did right, I feel. Because then it cured the problem that we had of having presidential by-election. And here we are.
All right. Dear viewer, in case you would love to come through, feel free. The number is showing on the screen. You can be part of the program. This is Millennium Tonight. I'm featuring Mr. Martin Mulenga, who is NAREP Secretary General. He's also a member of the UPND Alliance under NAREP. So you can call the number that is showing on the screen. I saw someone was calling. You can call now, as we are giving you enough time to talk to us, and you can talk to my studio guest, who is Mr. Martin Mulenga. Let's pick up a call, Mr. Mulenga, and we'll continue with our discussion. Hello. Hello, good evening. How are you? Fine, thank you. Give us your name and where you're calling us from. Jesse. Jesse. All right, Mr. Jesse, go ahead.
So, our viewer there, our guest, how are you?
I'm okay, Mr. Jesse, and how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. At least we have someone in Zambia who can speak minus fear, who is straightforward. I think in life being straightforward it's okay, because it's opening our mind also as people who are learning from you politicians. I think what I can just urge our government from today, they have lost touch with the people, and the funeral of ECL was supposed to be them winning the touch to the people, how they would have handled it. The person, when he was alive, they never respected his presence. But now, since the man is late, they would have respected that being late, we respect the dead. So now we have seen that we lack leadership qualities in our presidency, number one. And with our advisor of the president, they lack leadership qualities. Because the leadership qualities, they come from advice. The way you advise one another, it should also apply to the listener. So if the listener is able to get good advice from the advisor, will come up with one concrete solution which will help out the country. But as it is today, I'm telling you, we are still blind, and we are learning bad thing. We are learning through bad phase as Zambians. We need your advice and your guidance. Where are we? This 2026 going to be normal, or we are still in a charade whereby we need to learn from somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for calling. Your reaction to Jesse's sentiment?
I think our comrade Jesse is probably just agreeing with us that every problem that we encounter as people, it's a learning phase, and we need to appreciate that when such a thing has befallen a country, we need to pick lessons, such that next time we'll be able to do better than we have done today. And also, we are passing on the same kind of lessons to the future generation to come. Because if we set a very bad precedent, then we as a nation, we are setting grounds that even if it was to happen tomorrow, or justify to say, why did it happen that way? But if we find a solution to it, we are going to be appreciated with those that are going to come to say, when a situation like this happened, this is how they managed to sort it out. And there is an opportunity for us to rise above our political affiliation, to rise above this problem that we have, and be able to do what is right. That's basically what you're telling.
Okay. All right, you can get to call us as well. The number is showing on the screen, so please dial that number and be part of the program, and we'll be more than glad to hear from you. This is Millennium Tonight right here on Millennium TV, and do remember that we are live on our Facebook page, and we are also live on channel 95 on Topstar. Let's hear from this caller here. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, Elvis Mulunda.
Elvis Mulunda. Elvis Mulunda ukitwe London tumve.
Yeah, in any question if you don't get them quite person the Oakland. Yeah, if what I see what the chilo up with Sepana 19, no ma my issues ya twalire mu kulubaliwa government because our government eba iminino kweba national money ya papa pa 19 there. So tudabirwe vya what I see beromba fyashana vya ba family. The government continue muri diriashi. Apusha mkwa e question ni na chokwe pusha kwewe.
Okay, Elvis Mulunda, thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
All right. Yes, you may continue, sir.
Yeah. Elvis, I think, is trying to point out one of the things that everyone, I think, is aware of, where saying what they, as far as this is concerned, the national mourning ended. So this time after the national mourning, there is no national mourning, meaning that now it's about the family to proceed and do what they can, wherever they are. He's trying just to speak based on the information that was given out there.
So now, obviously, one question that could come through, maybe let's get to pick up this call here. Let's talk to this person. Hello, you're live on Millennium Tonight.
Yes, this is Lois Mkonge calling from South Africa, but I'm just going to use my vernacular language.
All right, Mr. Lois, you are calling us from South Africa.
I'm calling from South Africa.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, iliya shiri
Okay.
mufilimu abana jena sana eafu liliya shita lili sana iliya kumubili nali kula sana na spiritual thing. So umbe finti fya spiritual kufilondolola kubuntunse dafimwoneka nomo olo very difficult umuntu ushiri mu spiritual kumweza fya mu spiritual. So kulefe kwa wafyo kupepa sana mapepo iradde bode yalingiro kuisa mu Zambia pa Wednesday pa Tuesday ubushikona alisa kwata ma visions so yali kula sana ma visions na kwete nomba na alifika kwikala tondolo because ngo ikala tondolo nshora aba disobedience
ma visions
so alisa tumina ko alisa tumina ko ku Zambia ko so in short this time we have to pray very much and that thing of going to court, it's not going to court like you want to challenge. It's going to court for buying time so that some process are going to dress something. That court is just trying to dress something. Process can be fulfilled. After that process fulfilled, nothing even to argue. It's only that there is a process which is pending. That's why there is. If that process was done before, we cannot even have the problem.
So, Valewisi.
So understand, yes?
My visions is Mwakwete. Can you explain to us the visions that you had?
There is a group of people, they were doing some rituals. So when they were doing some rituals in spirit, I went there, and those people, they were very much confident. That ritual, it was connected to the funeral we are experiencing, but it sounded like it's madness. So in the morning, I tried to call someone there in Zambia, one of those guys who have got platforms on the Facebook. So I explained to him carefully, and I told them that tell those people, the PF members and what, tell them to stop violence, because things which is happening, they can find themselves in trouble. Let them to be calm so that they can see the situation. Things are very much in spiritual. Some people, they want to take advantage about this death so that they can connect to their spiritual powers. But it cannot happen because the lady was very much connected to the Almighty God. So there is a spirit of light and the spirit of the darkness. They are fighting spiritually. Now, the spirit of light is very much powerful at the moment. So the spirit of darkness, they are trying to bring something, confusions, because when you are following that confusions, you can be defeated spiritually.
All right, Mr.
They have done process, they have done the ritual, whatever, they were just waiting that body to come so that they completed what they were doing on Tuesday.
Okay. Mr.
On
Lewis,
Tuesday night.
Thank you so much for calling all the way from South Africa via WhatsApp.
Okay, so those people, the prayer warriors, what they have just to intercede, not with the physical fight. Right. Even here, we do pray. On Friday, we sleep in the church. We are interceding at Fifth Church, is a global church. I even submit the request for country, the flag is in the church. We always intercede about it, and those who are in Zambia, let them continue interceding.
Thank you.
Because that is an innocent soul. Sure.
Thank you so much for calling, Mr. Lewis.
Okay, sure.
All right, so Lewis was calling us via WhatsApp all the way from South Africa. So if you are watching Millennium Tonight via Facebook, you can also do the same. You can use the same line and get in touch with us, and we'll be more than glad to hear from you. Mr. Mlenga, your reaction to the calls we've received.
Yeah, as Christian, I think we need to pray all the time with ceasing. And we are children of God, believe that this country is. And I may not delve so much into those issues that my brother mentioned about and how there's a fight and all that. But I know that as a country, we serve a living God. Even our national anthem is a prayer to God. Stand and sing. We pray to God having to sing that nation. So we are a Christian nation. And thank God for Dr. Chiluba that we are declared a Christian nation.
Right.
So what is happening, just culturally, traditionally, even through our Christian values, I think we're missing. The kind of excitement that we are seeing on social media, excitement in the negative sense, where I saw some lady, a socialite lady who runs a restaurant somewhere. smoking that they will have a meal to do with the South Africa. Fortunately enough, that young lady apologized a day later. But you ask ourselves, so akakamukashanaka kabulefya chililo kale pangamba meals yabo ali nesabi na fishan na shan. But having to mention her name, I think Zambian people will know that lady, young lady. Married, at some point married to our own famous musician. We are Christians as a nation. No wonder now issues of superstition now is coming up. We all under feel like the previous scholar, but some of us, we're not just politicians, but we believe we are children of God. That's why because of our Christian values, we call a spade a spade. But this thing is not the way things are supposed to go. Because as a nation, we can do better than what we are seeing ourselves doing. Pashirilo. Mlande findu fishkwete amana. Muntu aliposta na kuposta. Nama leaders wale mulolesha wale mtamba na ishi na mwishiba. Nama ilo posta na buyabu shikuwa posta. Mamuna chawe, ifitefio chawe shiba. And let me tell you, those of us that are in politics, I think for me, the word of counsel, those that are in politics, believe me, you, all of us as politicians, me, I've always said this, we are very few. We can look as if we are many when we are posting on social media there. We are very few. Which political party has got 5 million voters? Nothing. And we'll never have such a political party. So when we are trying to mock people, especially those that find themselves in an
like that, these people, they are not serious with leadership, to be honest. They can't do what they have done because they declared that national mourning is over. Now those people who are owners of the funeral, they proceeded with their program because they can't just wait because the government said the funeral is over. Then they can't just sit idle. No, they were supposed to move on. This is what we expected, that they were supposed to move on. But now today they are saying court injunctions. Have you seen now what this kind of leaders we are having now in this country? Very, I don't know what to say. In fact, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling. We do appreciate you talking to us. Yes, Mr. Mlenga, your reaction to those
I think I do agree with both callers. You know, when you're in leadership and you give a direction, people will listen to you. And as far as our listeners are concerned, we have no national money. It's only Sharipwa as far as government is concerned. Amadezi ya itashani, yadipwa. Mesio ya itashani, yadipwa. If you were call our land. So if you HTK fee, no family valera. That's what the caller is telling us. So there is need that we should, I think, leaders, whether in government or outside government, what we need to do is, what is so difficult for us to, we sit round table discussion. Wapanga po chintu chinga, chimu, yawa kusipata waandaji, ipange mfundo imozi. Ichi ya sipa kupanga mfundo imozi nchinshi. Nishipari fishile enda wino. Songa tefile enda wino. Awa reshupa ni banani. Ama suspicions ya kula mbukula isevyo fini. Uyatontonga nefi yakwe. Because pale panga mfundo imozi waiba kuchipata.
Okay, Mr. Mlenga, let's not go to those suspicions. We are done with them for now. Let's pick up this call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening, madam. How are you?
I'm ikinga kusasana mu bantu bakwazi batatu kwa batata ati ulomba bifinta sisi akosta nishinshi sana chilishuka sana watu watontoka sana ichiwe batranda ndio mnala siare pena insta no kwate ya kumwafwa batala le bakana batuntolo mukuru wa kontra le bakana namba ya bakutwale mabatu wepo kubakipiri namba sawa kentushike mwanze kenta mwe sine na kushika mairo kenna shike Kenya, Tawe, never reached in Chichato. It was our penny. Tawe, it's already a chori. It's already a chari. Twapata mantra, while the people let them gladly puka. The Kenya was not that way which you would be. Twapata tepo penny.
We have a few minutes before we close the program, so in case you would love to be part of it, you can call right now. The line is still open. We have at least about 5 minutes to accommodate you. Rachel, abanda mchibemba.
Ariki nabalondolola mukuchumfu bayechumfa. Barecho kulinde balelila. Bayeti lekeni mubili wabayashi. Lungu lale mchibemba. And for sure muntu ngafwa. Ile paisa bokwikatana. Ombe achapa. Ngafu umuntu kwabati sambo lyamfwana muikala mule umfwana mwana ngaba kuchipata basita nechimbuya pala pene batu abasuo bunga kwanono omunko yo pamo chapwa.
I think I should start a program in Bemba.
Now.
No,
that's good because I was responding to our caller who had used Bemba. So
no, you can go ahead. Respond in Bemba. It's okay. It's okay.
To be fair with her.
Indeed, because she called in Bemba.
My sister in Mandevu. So yes. I was trying to respond to her.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So it still remains that we need to appreciate that even as we are living together, like my sister was saying, let's treat each other well. Oh, the lessons that we've learned over the death of Lungu, having to live with each other well, regardless of our political, I think, misunderstanding. I think some of us we've got friends across all political parties, UPND, PF, NAREP, and all those political parties, that if something was to happen, we still meet as brothers and sisters. That's the politics we want to inculcate.
How good is your relationship with those friends that you've mentioned from different political parties?
Very healthy. Very healthy. So it's very difficult for me to brag about how some of us enjoy relationships across vertical folding arms like this. Because we are mourning. Leaders were like this. I said in one of the programs I had on Millennium TV that those boys in Kitwe, those two boys, the way they were disparaging one of the leaders for the sake of this issue that we have, or not be able to mention the leader they were disparaging. I said if I were in that party, I was going to discipline them. We saw that not coming forth. It went on up to now, it's continued. None has been disciplined for using foul language on social media. And yet, we have cyber security. It's in public domain. The only one we saw being arrested, why me? Which we all condemn. But when we are to apply the law, let it be fair. What is good for the goose, let it be good for the gander.
We pick up the last call here. Let's have our last call. Okay, we lost that call. Maybe we get your concluding remarks as we end. We have run out of time.
I think my plea, those of us are in politics, let's know that this leadership position that we have, none of us are going to go down 6 feet with those positions. None of us are going to die with those positions that we have. This leadership position that we have are just but for a temporal period. So meaning that we need to show love to one another. Even when we are living, let's show love to one another. The way I speak to you, the way I will treat you, must be able to reflect that we are able to disagree but able to love one another. Then next time we go to church, we find that we are all Catholic. We go to church, we are all Seventh Day. Remember today and church, per Sunday, we'll say, hallelujah, sit down, we sit down. The pleasure is mine.
All right.
Thank you.
We end the program right here, dear viewers and